G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. As you can see, we've probably had 6 or 7 millimetres of rain today, and in the 4 days we've had 52 millimetres of gentle soaking rain while I sort of sit here and feed firewood to the potbelly. We're now on 1024 millibars, 59%, no, 95% humidity outside, 59 inside. And to be honest, on our 4th day of overcast, I figured the tower of power had probably got to the point where it needed some help. But because I've got an electric motorbike, therefore rather than crank up the little Gentrax or the big Westinghouse, it struck me we don't have any fire danger during a gentle wind and rain off the edge of what's now a tropical rain depression. But yeah, I decided to crank this system up and have the motorbike's otherwise full solar batteries, which have been floating because they're already full under all of this rain. So now what's going on is those are making about 140 watts, of which I think 9 amps at 12.5 volts is plugged into the pyramid. So we're now showing about 1.5 amps of solar power to give us 12.9 volts. And down here, what are we looking at? Get your head down far enough. Probably about 8 amps. Don't know whether... There we go. So I'm turning probably something like 60 or 65 volts into 24 volts, put them into those batteries, turned into 240 volts to bring it over here and turn that into probably 15 volts or something. Meanwhile, the hut over there's got 3 amps coming out of it. And while I'm up and walking around in the gentle drizzle, he's fallen down again. The benefits of having a traffic controller for a daughter. He found his way here to bark at people who might otherwise knock down me power lines. Isn't that cute? I think it is anyway. Complements me fire risk warning sign just nicely. So we do a tent check. Nothing flapping loose. Anybody who follows my daughter's YouTube channel, Wandering Wharton, will be aware that the old man got involved with adding extra guy ropes. The idea behind these is to make sure that that zip does not get stormwater going through it. So we've now got vertical plastic wall between the zip by virtue of the tension put on the tent wall. The only issue is that when you come to roll up the sidewall in hot weather, you've got to pull them off. The other little improvement, because it's a Karma canvas tent and it's some aftermarket out of Amazon or some website tent fly, they don't quite match up. So yeah, we've added Melaleuca alternifolia compression struts to take the flappiness. I thought that might be a clever thing to do before a cyclone was due to go just to the north of here. And the outhouse and its marathon air vent has remained intact. And the water tank's not actually overflowing yet. But it's not far off. And at a kind of pathetic rate of 4.5 litres per millimetre of rain, it should fill itself up. Kind of sort of nicely. So, there you go. Such is the view. And yeah, Skitty's still in the grave, and the daughter's off, I think, on the way to Dorrigo on the Waterfall Way, where there's been a landslide. According to the news, somebody down that way, a 61-year-old, tried conclusions with the flooded causeway, got swept off the causeway, managed to catch onto a tree, hung onto the tree while calling the police and talked to them for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, might have been an hour, before, sadly, ceasing to communicate, so presumably being washed out of the tree. Or hopefully run out of battery power, don't know. But anyway, that's what it's like a kilometre to the west of the Watershed, 1,111 metres above the sea level. Before the rain came, I pumped about 2,000 litres out of that. So, yeah, I got to say I've pretty well judged it well. I was not aware that that little old tree had fallen down. I suppose I better sort that one out. And the toy shed has enjoyed its 52 mils or so of free rainwater from the sky. There we go. So that when the traffic controllers come home, they don't have to get out if they get home in the dark tonight. And stayed away and got paid to camp in a motel last night. I think I might finish putting those props on the few. I think there might be another 4 tent fly guy ropes that need propping up. And yeah, in an attempt to try and convert some gravitational energy into conserved angular momentum, I increased the length of the 45-degree downward angle pipe. You have to be in the more or less downburst conditions before it functions, but it's better than nothing. Got to do something to cause the pool to spin, eh? And during that time, the current going in has stayed the same, but the voltage has risen. And the load has stayed the same. Probably a meaningless affectation, but I do like to array that visibly on the outside of the electric pyramid so I don't forget that I've got it hooked up and the inverter is running. Wobbles on a lot to YouTube. Enjoy your Cyclone Alfred. So far I'm having a great time. For the sea level rise falls down from the skies, washing climate deniers away, away, washing science deniers away, flushing science denial away. Sea level rise falls down from the skies. You could probably ask Booty Q Real Estate about that, if they had electricity and telephone services at the Gold Coast. 25 years I've been advising my cousin, who used to be a real estate agent at Pacific Farms, move up the hill, move up the hill, move up the hill. Sea level rise is coming, global warming's not a joke. He moved from Pacific Farms to bloody Noosa Heads. Booty Q real estate. How much of their beautiful beach got washed out to sea in the last 4 days? How many of the marvellous mansions he was hoping to sell and carve a commission off got remodelled by the rainstorm? Some people just don't want to know that global warming is real and that we have to sort of change our expectations. They think that if you can convince enough people to cheer alongside you when you say we don't want to know, we don't want to know, then somehow the atmospheric heat engine is going to change. And it's going to bloody change, all right. If you have a look at a bloke called Paul Beckwith, Beckwith, he's an actually qualified Canadian version of who I would like to be, a polymath who's got the headspace to be able to sit there at his computer and have a look at all of the latest research, peer-reviewed papers regarding global warming and humanity and civilization's tenure within the biosphere. Read the paper, pull up all of the citations, have a look at the citations, get the gist of it straight in his mind, and then put out a YouTube video that only runs maybe 20 or a minute or an hour and 20, explaining what this paper means and how it all works and why that's not bullshit and what it all means. We appear to be crossing simultaneously a bloody shopping bag full of tipping points. It's really scary if you pay attention and you know what's going on. So that's probably why the hoi polloi, the serfs and the proletariat, are not paying attention to global warming. They're worrying about the political circus. But anyway, yeah, so far Cyclone Alfred turned into Rain Depression Alfred. Well, just means I've got to stoke the fire and it's not yet winter. Warbles on like the YouTube. Ciao.